Salute. Yes. Good looking out, Mike. Yeah, I see you, LP. Let's go.
What's that? It said new. Allow viewers to do what? Hey, what's up? It's Mike Watson. So we're live on the Freestyle Komics page, but it looks like I'm lagging on this computer. I'm experimenting doing some other things. I'm also live on my page as an alternative, but I don't have this really sweet, awesome banner that I made on there. And then when I tried to do it from my page, today it was just full of technical difficulties. So I'm going to bear through it, and we're going to see what we can make happen. I'm going to see how it look. I'm also trying to record this as I do it, so I can probably post it up later as something else. Alright, so, hey, what's up though? It's Mike Watson of Freestyle Komics. So, if you're just tuning in, I'm trying to do something a little tad bit different. Give me a second to set up here. Start a little bit. I'm supposed to start at 8:45. I'm starting a little bit early. So, if you're looking at me from the side, this is my personal page that I'm doing the Facebook Live on. And then I'm also streaming it on the Freestyle Comics page. Now, the one on the Freestyle Comics page seems to be lagging, but I worked really hard on this banner. So I want it up there. And I'm going to record it from OBX while still doing it on my personal page so we can coincide the message here. Don't know who that is messaging me. So, what is this? Oh, yeah, let's go to Freestyle Comics. So I'm pulling up the one on the Freestyle Comics so I can see if any comments are there. And I've pulled it up on I've pulled it up on my computer as well, so I can check those comments. And I can kind of see how's it going. So we're letting it roll for a little bit, try to get a couple people in here. I know I got a couple topics to talk about. I got some questions from last week that people gave that I will be answering or discussing here. And let's pull that one up. All right. Man, this streaming business is serious business. I will tell you that much. It is pretty damn serious. I'm going to have to, like, really work on this tech side. So I appreciate those that are bearing with me here. And why? That is not where I'm supposed to be at. I appreciate those of you that are going to bear with me through this. And stick it out with me through the technical difficulties. Again, if you're watching this on the Freestyle Comics page, obviously I have a better stream of it going up on my personal page, which I'm trying to get up right now. Oh, no, this might not work tonight. You know, you try to improve on your branding and your social media and do a weekly event, and technology does not want to cooperate with you. Like, this really should not be a problem. Alright, so wait. Think we're good. Oh, okay, I think we're fine. But it won't. Alright, so there we go. Alright. So I think we're as set up as we are going to be for this venture, and I'm just gonna get started, and I'll just look at it once it gets done and posted, and I will try to work on some solutions to any of the technical difficulties that I'm having and facing right now, which seems to be a ton of them. But I am also recording, so I am hoping to put a fresher, cleaner version of this. So, alright. Dear Creatives, Episode 8. I am Mike Watson of Freestyle Komics. I'm the editor-in-chief and the lead artist on FSK Things. Currently at FSK, we are FSK for Freestyle Komics. We are publishing 5 titles. Hotshot, our flagship book, Vigilance, Heroes International, Emerald Quest, and The Cipher. Right. Hotshot, Vigilance, Heroes International, Emerald Quest. And it's like, yeah, that's 5 books. We'll be releasing a new title this year, the miniseries, The Zero Event. Today's episode, I want to talk about passion and being a creative and passionately pitching your ideas. So I was in Baltimore Comic Con, and there was a show that was the show, and the Comic Book Retailer Summit was also there, and I luckily got the chance to be a part of that, and got to see what that's like, and it's like I don't know, it's like a little low budget Hollywood spectacle for comic books. It was kind of funny. Had some really good food, and they gave us these. We found a table, we sat down. There was a bunch. Obviously, there's a ton of comic book retailers from all over that side and area, probably further out and things like that, coming to Baltimore to see what the comic book industry is going to be producing. The whole point of this is to get the shop owners in there and see what's coming out so they can be excited about it and want to order it and, champion their cause. Like, get these books. Like, oh, these books are going to be awesome. These variant covers are going to be awesome. These things they're doing is going to be awesome, right? So, give me a second. So, we get there, and eat and it gets broken down to me. So Diamond, they're the big ones behind this or whatnot, and they want you to, they want all these comic companies. There's tiers in each, for each company. Whoever obviously pays the most in the Diamond. They got the most ad space, they got the most books, there's like an epic gold platinum tier, gold tier, silver tier, bronze tier, regular tier, and several companies, comic books companies spread out over it, whatever. But this also determines how much time they get on stage to talk about their products. And there was a lot of stuff that came up. Oh my goodness, I don't understand what this is. I don't understand why I'm being riddled with technical difficulties. Bear with me, please. I mean, some of you just say, yeah, not this week, Mike. But that's fine. I'm still going to push on through it, and the show will grow, grow in tech as we go along. Yeah. So, so that dictates how much time they get on the stage. Obviously, Marvel and DC having the most time, followed by Image. And, there was a lot of stuff up there from Marvel and DC. I was like, some stuff I was like, oh, yeah, that's cool. I'll be interested in getting that and whatnot. But, I'm getting early peaks at, 9 months, 6 to 9 months to a year of when this stuff is dropping, right? So that is pretty exciting. And the food was great. So Image gets up there, and where'd I put it? Do I not have it anymore? yes, Image gets up there. I still have it up here. And they have a ton of stuff that they have coming out. You know, Image. What up, Mike? Image is doing big things or whatnot. Right. So this one guy gets up here. Let me make sure I have this right. Charles Soleil and Ryan Brown. No, colors by Ryan Brown. Letters, logo, cover art. You ain't gonna tell me who it was created by? Let me see. Letters by logo, cover art by Ryan Brown. Cover by Alright, so let's just say the creator of Curse Words gets up there, right? And this guy he's got a lot of heart. He's got a lot of passion. He doesn't have like this fancy, Photoshop slideshow or with visual effects on it or anything like that, or some great animated voice that's speaking like a movie premiere or anything like that. He just has these pictures, right? He gets up there, and one of the pictures I remember him talking about was this van. And it was painted with, the name of the book is Curse Words, right. So it's painted with the character and the title font. It's a really, really awesome looking van, and it says Curse Words. And he's like, if you guys buy my book and have it at your shops, then I'll be able to get the money to get this van and go on tour. And he was like, well, I probably won't take it on tour, but I'll definitely get the van and take it a couple places. And the list just kept getting shrinking of what he was going to do with his van until he ended up like, well, I'm not going to get the van, but you guys should order the books. He had a really good icebreaker. There was a lot of passion in his voice when he was talking, and he could talk about his book. And you think that's like a given? You should be able to talk about your book, but this dude really could talk about his book, and a lot of people cannot talk about their books and make it fun or make it exciting or make it interesting, and this guy could. So that retailer summit was right around the time when they announced that Invincible from Robert Kirkman and Ryan Otley and Corey Walker was ending, and we were only going to get one more year of it. And I'm thinking, man, I need another book to fill that void because Invincible is my stuff, right? So he gets up there, he shows images of the book, he's talking passionately about the book. And, he's naturally, he's not like a comedian, but he's making jokes, and it's not even that he's making jokes, it's just what he's saying, how he's talking, he's being entertaining, and, his love for the book is just coming out. The love of the craft, the love of the work is just coming out, and he's naturally being funny. And when I saw the images of it, I was like, you know what? That could be the book to fill my void. That could be the book. Oh, no. This was at a con I went to last year, Mike. So I went to Baltimore Comic Con, and then they also had the retailer summit there. So I'm like, oh my God, this dude has really got me invigorated to, check out his book. I'm really excited about it. I really want to put my dollars down on it. And I was there with a comic book retailer, and I was like, man, order this book for me, please. Put it on my pool. And I was like, yeah, sure, cool beans. So it must have been 6 months or whatever. The book finally comes out, but I bought it. And I bring that up to say that because a passionate display of your book, of your character, will get people to buy it. And that's what you got to do. Something that I have, I guess in a way I've known and not realized it, and it really did not come to a point and really become a focus until I got with Short Fuse, is that people don't know about your books. You may think you have a large circle, right? You may think that you have people that are all about you, and you got a lot of people following you and watching and stuff, but you really don't, if you're just starting out. Now, I'm not saying that's the case for every single person, but I had it in my head that, I got a big audience, it's going to be no problem, and then I got to Short Fuse and got smacked in the face. No, my audience isn't as big as I thought it was, or, near where I want it to be. So, people generally are going to buy the book from you before they even realize what it is. Because if they like you, if they enjoy you, if they're inspired by you, if they're entertained by you, basically if you just have a good damn time with them, they'll throw down their dollars like, oh, you know what, F it, let me get this guy's book, let me support him, or this gal's book, let me throw some money down, help them out. And then the thing is that you gotta have a good book to back it up, so you get them to come back, because you're your presence, your atmosphere, your attitude, your personality, that's the gatekeeper. That gets them to the door. That gets them to knock on the door, and then you give them the product. Now, the just rewards is having a good product. Because then they're like, oh, you know what? That Mike Watson kid's really cool. Let's support him. Get a couple of his books. Get home, read the books. These books are actually good. I'm going to want some more of these. That's what you want. Because, yeah, you'll have the person, or you'll have a certain group of people that will walk past your table, see the art, be impressed with the art, and want to buy the book because they're just a comic book fan, and, you know, it caught their eye. Yeah, you're going to have that. You're not going to have a lot of that, though. And so you're going to have to invoke conversation. You're going to have to get in there, get your hands dirty, and talk to people. I am a huge advocate of, if you're going to a comic book convention and you need to be speaking to 80 to 85% of the people that are walking past your table, and not even with the intent to sell. You need to be talking to these people with the intention of just saying, what's up? How you doing? I'm at the con. I'm at the show. What are you doing? That's a cool ass shirt. Oh, can I see that print? What are you here for? Are you here for The Walking Dead? Are you here for Man of Steel? Whatever. Just start a conversation. Just talk to them. For creators, my creatives, I feel like when you're at a con and people have paid money to get into that show, they have paid money and they have signed a contract, whether they know it or not, for me to pitch my shit to them. They have. Absolutely they have. Because they know what they're walking into. They're walking into a comic book convention that has celebrities, that has vendors, that has comic books, that has toys, stores, all that stuff. If Safe Auto and T-Mobile can bother you for insurance and a cell phone plan at a comic book convention, I dang sure can talk to you about some comic books. You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid. You can't be bashful. I know maybe, some people are introverts and, they just really enjoy comic books. They enjoy making them, but they're not very extroverted or outgoing people or whatnot. You're going to have to get over that shit. All right? For the most part, again, this is based off my experiences and what I've seen. Everybody's story is different. But for the most part, your art alone isn't going to sell the books. If you can't catch people's attention with your art, how can you get them to pick up the book to read the book? So maybe the art's not your strongest point, and you're like, it's the story. The story's amazing. Well, if the art's not good to catch their eye, how can you get them to get to the story? Talking to them? That's how we can do it. We talk to these people. We have conversations with these people. Crack a joke. Be corny. One of the good things I liked about working at Foot Locker and GameStop, or Finish Line. Finish Line and GameStop is that you have to have the ability to kind of size up who you're dealing with in that conversation when you're trying to sell them a shoe or a game. But the easiest way to do it, don't play games. Just ask them, what are they into? What kind of comics do you like? Oh, do you? Well, actually, I have that kind of comic book right here. This is actually curse words because I bought the first issue. So I was inspired by that man, and I was like, man, I'm going to go get his book. I'm going to go support him because what he's saying about the book, how he's talking about the book, how he's representing the book is right up my alley. And when I'm looking at the art does not look that bad. Sorry, I rephrase it. It's not bad. The art is good. There's better, but it is good. Good enough to satisfy me enough to read the story. And I bought it. Now, after reading the story and, checking out the art stuff, book wasn't for me. But I normally buy the first 3 issues to see how the book goes. And then I make my final decision. But in the end, the title wasn't for me. But it did get me to buy the book. It got me to see the book. Most of the times what I get, and I enjoy getting it, a lot of times people buy like the first issue, first 2 issues of Hot Shot, and then, you know, they'll either come back to me on the next day or they'll message me on Facebook and say, dude, this is awesome. Where can I get more? And I love when people come up there and buy it and they get the first 2 issues, and I'm like, hey, I'm not trying to use this as a salesman's tactic, but I'm telling you, you're probably going to want to at least get the first 4 issues to satisfy where you're at. And they're like, well, I don't know about that. I'll just try them. And then I get that message on Facebook, or they come back the very next day. Let me get the next issue. I'm just saying, like, so being truthful and cavalier and fun with it always helps. So the long and short of it is, be able to conversate, be able to talk. If you can't talk about yourself and talk about your title, how can you expect anyone else to get into it? How can you bring anybody into it? Comic book conventions, the landscape of comic book conventions is changing, and it changes every single year. There's 2 types of fans that go to comic book conventions as of late, and I would like to say that one end of it is mainstream fans. They are there for the movies and the TV shows, and again, there's nothing wrong with that, but that's what they're there for. And then you have the regular fan, the usual fan that I'm used to and accustomed to are the comic book heads, or the cartoon heads that are there for art, that are there for comic books, that are there to meet creators. So you got about a 60-40 split with that. And comic book conventions are going to tend, most of them, not all of them. And again, it's not a good or bad thing. It's just, it's the way business is, and you have to adjust to what business is. Generally, comic book conventions are going to try to tend to get more of the mainstreams in because they want celebrities there. Celebrities bring in more people. And it's kind of like that old expression, crap rolls downhill. Well, fans roll down. So after the celebrities get them there, it's our job to talk to them and snatch them in. So you should never be afraid to talk to anybody. And as I said, there is that written contract. Once you buy your ticket, once you put down your money to go to the show, you have signed a contract. And in my contract, in my eyes, that says Michael Watson of Freestyle Komics gets to pitch his comics to you. You ain't got to buy them. You don't have to walk away with them. You ain't got to buy the whole bundle of them. But I do get to talk to you about them. I do get to speak to you. And if you don't want to talk, that's fine. You don't have to talk. We don't have to speak. But that's not going to stop me from saying hi. That's not going to stop me from being polite. So that's kind of where I am with that. Long and short of it, you guys and gals have to talk. You have to conversate. You know about your book. You're working on that book. So be able to talk about that book. You should kind of have levels. You should have levels of conversation for your comic book. And the first level is the elevator pitch. When you're talking about your comic book, you should have the elevator pitch that pulls them in and gets them interested. Then when they're picking up the book and they seem intrigued, you do a level 1, which is give them a little bit more information, which is kind of like the synopsis or summary of said story that they're looking at. But if you get somebody that's really into it and asking questions, that's when you go into level 2 and you break them off some of the overall story arcs and, you know, character types that are in the book, talking about your brand and like what's representative of the comic books and things like that. But that level 2 conversation is dependent on what kind of comic book fan that you have there. And that's something that you're going to have to gauge in your conversation. So, it's good times. Hold up, I got a question. Oh, no, I already answered that question. So, that was the main topic, which is passionate conversation about your books. You got to have it, and you got to be able to talk about yourself. I just watched She's Got to Have It on Netflix, and one of the faults of the character when she had a show, an art show, was she could not talk about her artwork or talk about herself or like what her artwork meant. And that's one of the things that we immediately learned when I was going to Cleveland School of Arts and the Columbus College of Art and Design. Hey, Dorfies. So, You definitely got to be able to do those things and able to sell your product. If you're not going to champion it, nobody else will. Or you might get somebody to do it, but you can't wait for that. You can't depend on that. So now I got a couple questions from last week's show. I posted in the thread, and again, if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything like that, put them in this thread. I've started doing a little preview. Hey, the show will be on this Wednesday at this time. Put your questions and your comments on there, and I will be sure to add them to the next show, which we will be doing that now. Just real quick, Dear Creatives is the new name for the show. It was Dear Indie, and I switched the name to Creatives now, and this is episode 8. Looks like the Freestyle Komics live stream is completely frozen. But you get to see that boss banner window I made, and that's what I care about because I worked hard on that. Guys, don't worry. I will get this together. This live streaming stuff is the tech end of it is new to me, but I will get it together. I promise I will. All right, so we got Tony Cade. What's the best way for indie publisher to market and sell their comic to an interested customer base? Best way to market it to an interested customer base. That depends. I mean, there's so many ways to do it. So, like, I guess just take examples of how I market the books. So, I'm a big Marvel fan, DC fan, Image fan, and some of the marketing techniques that I do, I profile after them. But I also try to do things that other people aren't doing as well. So, let's see, Comic Cons, for example, when I am pitching books or marketing or selling my books there, how do I get people to buy them? So there's two types of selling at comic book conventions, or there's just two types of selling in general in all sales. There's the cold sale, aka the hard sale, or the warm sale. So the warm sale is selling something to someone that's already interested in your stuff, that is already over there looking at it, that is a comic book fan, and picking up and flip through, and that's a warm sale, which is much easier than a cold sale. Cold sale being someone that just completely doesn't even look in your direction and just walks away, but you still call them over to talk to them. That's a cold sale. And generally speaking, in that situation, when I have those people that are cold sales, I just start a conversation with them. I look them over very quickly, see if they have bought anything at the show yet, or if they're rocking some geek gear, or if they have one of those badges that feature the person or the celebrity that they're here to see. And I will point that out and grab it. I can't lie. I have played the card when I see, because I have several characters of color on my books. So when I see little kids walking by that I want to spread the message, which I will pull them over and say, hey, I got a book with a kid that looks like, I got a book with a superhero that looks like you. And that's a cool thing because parents want that. Parents want to see that type of thing. Code sale, probably the easiest code sale to do is just asking them what are they here for, and then once you see what they're here for, you ask them, well, are you into comic books? Unless they say, well, I'm here getting comic books. Then you say, well, what kind of comics are you looking for? Oh, well, I like superhero stuff, like Wonder Woman and Power Girl. I was like, oh, do you? I got a book right up your alley. You might like a book that I have called Vigilance. We have 3 issues of it out right now. She is this Superman of the Freestyle Komics universe. She's the strongest character on record, and she has amnesia. While I'm saying this, though, I'm not just talking, right? I'm picking that book up and I'm putting it in their hand. Flip through that while I'm talking about it. Because it's one thing to talk about it, but to be able to have it visually in your hand and to feel it and flip through it, that's a whole nother thing while you're getting that sidebar from me. Pitching maybe the comic book shops. One of the comic book shops' biggest fear is that you come out with one book and then you won't come out with any more. So when I go to comic book shops, as I will be doing this week and next week, to let them know the new issues of my books are available, is that, hey, not only I'm bringing them comic books, not only do I have these comic books, but look how many I actually have. Hotshot has 10 issues. Vigilance has 3 issues. Heroes Renowned has 3 issues. The Cypher has 2 issues. Emerald Quest has 2 issues. We're working on another title called Zero Man. We've, comic shops even like to see numbers. So the way when I approach comic shops, I have a little packet for them. Little, check us out at Freestyle Komics. And actually I'm working on the one for this year because I just did our end of the year numbers. So having those things there makes you more accountable, makes you seem more professional, and definitely gives you more credibility. Because, you've been doing this for a while. And, you've got numbers to back these things up. And it also helps if you have a presence on social media and, they can go back and look you up and see what you're doing and things like that. So, customer base. But, you gotta have creative ways to do it. Like, man, I freestyle, I break dance, I give away free items. But the main thing I do, which actually coincides with the main topic here, is I talk passionately about my characters and my books. Like, when people hear me speak about this stuff, they know I'm in it. They know I love it, and they know I'm about it. Alright, so next question. Close this window. From Doomsmith Art off of Instagram. What's your process on character creation? I don't know if I really have one. I just start drawing stuff. I normally have a character that I'm inspired by when I'm making a new character, and I will use them as the foundation or groundwork, or unless I just have an idea for something and I just start working it out. Like Hotshot's inspired by 4 different characters. Naruto, Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Invincible are the inspirations for Hotshot. So first off, Wolverine, because I got into comics in the 90s, and Wolverine was the stuff then. And I loved Wolverine because he was 5 nothing, and he was the hardest member of X-Men. He honestly has the lamest power, but I still love him. I mean, when you compare it to everything else, a dude that turns his whole body into flesh and metal, optic blast, controlling weather, a telepath, telekinesis, kinetically charging items, he's on the total lower end of power. I have razor sharp blades that come out of my hands and a mutant healing factor. But it wasn't really his powers that did it for me. It was his personality, his code of honor. And, Wolverine would go in for his family. For those that, end up getting close to Logan and he considers family, he goes in for them. And he lets nothing stop him. He can get hammered, blown up, thrown through a wall. He's getting back up. He's coming for you. You know what I'm saying? And he always takes that older brother role with a lot of characters, and I enjoy that severely. And so I like that can't stop attitude. No matter what your size is, I'm going to go up against you. So you'll see a lot of that in the Hotshot character and who he faces and how he's very loyal to his friends, and he's very protective of them. And Hotshot gets his ass kicked a lot, but he don't have no quit in him. So that comes from Wolverine. Spider-Man is a huge influence on him because I thoroughly enjoy a character you can relate to, a character that has real life issues and is trying to balance the superhero life. It's a big catalyst for I don't feel like you can get behind a superhero and want them to win unless you can get behind who the hero really is. So, and that doesn't apply to everybody, because Bruce Wayne isn't the real character. Batman is, but you love Batman, or most people do. Ren McKenzie does not. Clark Kent is the made-up character. Kal-El is the real character. Peter Parker is the real character. Spider-Man is the add-on. So you want Spider-Man to win. You want Spider-Man to be successful because you want Peter Parker to win. Because Peter Parker doesn't win. He doesn't get any wins. And you're like, oh man, Peter Parker's life sucks. But when he puts on that mask, he's a whole nother character. He's confident. He's charismatic. He has superpowers. He is hilarious. And you're like, you want him to win because Peter doesn't get any wins. So this is the one arena where he can win. So that's kind of like, I want to mirror that type of trait with Hotshot. And Mike faces a lot of things in the Hotshot series. But he's kicked out of the comic club he created. He's on the verge of losing the scholarship because he's never in class. Teachers are giving him a hard time. His girlfriend thinks he's cheating on her, and he's not. Just can't admit that he's a superhero. Plus, he doesn't even know where he got his powers from. He just jumped up and put on the mask, and it's like, I'm going to be a superhero. So most times with a lot of the characters that I make, they are inspired, or they're inspired by something, or they're an homage to maybe a movie or a quote I've seen even. Rock Lee, I absolutely love Rock Lee. Naruto, I love the Naruto series. Oh wait, let me back up. Hotshot is also inspired by Naruto because of, I love the large arena that Naruto was in, and the finality of their stories and the relationships of the characters and those big moments of hard work to get this super powerful move off to win the day. But mainly it is the growth that we get to experience with the characters. So that's a lot of stuff that I want to put in the Hotshot book with the Hotshot characters to show him grow, have these really strong bonds of villains and co-stars, co-characters, and things like that. But growing with the series is a big narrative from Naruto that I enjoy, and that Naruto also has that never stop, I'm never gonna quit, believe it attitude. And then the last character is Invincible. More so Invincible because I love the story of Invincible. I love how Robert Kirkman tells the story, and I love that it's not a typical superhero book. Robert Kirkman makes a choice and makes a decision, and that's what it is. That's it. Mark has grown ridiculously from it, and it really examines what it is to be a superhero. So looking at these type of things as well. And so, all right, I'm done with that. So that was like the character inspiration and creation for Hotshot. In case you guys did not know, Hotshot is based off of me. So designing me wasn't hard, but designing the costume was. And I had a costume that's pretty close to what it is now. But my dude Ewart, when I was in college, he spruced up my design, and we have the Hotshot costume as it is now. So favorite colors are blue and black. I love that combination, and I wanted to have a mask that was super expressive. So we have a reason why the mask in Hotshot does what it does, but we haven't revealed it yet. We probably won't. Looks like Mike has something here. I guess you have to write a compelling character that people can relate to and get attached to, and there has to be room for this character to develop over time. And I like characters who are vulnerable to a degree, so I can actually care for them and fear for them. At least how I would write a hero. Oh my God, excellent, Mike Larson. Excellent, that's spot on. That's a great comment from Mike, and I agree with that 130 million percent. Mike Lancet is the current artist on our new Title Zero event that we're working on right now. So that's great feedback from Mike. Awesome stuff, Mike. So yeah, I'm a very big up on that. Big up on that. So we play with the characters. I've turned my daughters into characters, and obviously I start off with colors, the colors that they like, and then I try to design costumes based off of their personality and where their inspirations would be. Justice, I knew the moment that when I created Justice that he was immediately going to be based off of The Rock. I love Dwayne Johnson. He's amazing. I mean, how can you not like The Rock? So the mode was pretty much based off of him. So that kind of stuff is easy. Just recently I made a character for a Christmas present for a client of mine, and he gave me the specifics. He wanted him to be a voodoo witch doctor type of character, but he had to have he was a cop. He had to have influences of the police force on him, and it was based off of his dad. And that's pretty much all that he gave me, and I had to come up with the rest of it. So I went and talked to my father-in-law, because he's a cop, and I asked him, like, what do you call, what would you guys call, like, a rogue cop? Like, a cop that, is still, defending the law, but he's just not affiliated with the police anymore because he's just off the grid. And he's like, well, we call that in our, like, every priest in the Premier League has a different codes, obviously, and that makes sense. But he said in theirs, it'd be a B16, code B16. And I was like, what? What? A code B16? He's like, yeah, that's a rogue cop that's going off the map, off the program. And I was like, oh. So, like, immediately, so I guess you would say that process starts with, once I get the bulk of the information or the foundation, research and looking up that type of stuff. Luckily, my father-in-law is a cop, so I just had to go up and have a conversation with him. But he was giving me all these different codes, and then finally he got to the B16 code, and I was like, man, that's pretty dope. And then that immediately gave me the chain of thought with the character. That he's still going to have the aspects of the cop, he's still going to work in the mentality of being a police officer, but he has these witch doctor powers. So, he's not a bad guy, but, he's almost like Spawn to a degree, but the cops actually like him. And so whenever something's going on, they're like, hey, we got a B16 in the area. So they would back off and let him do his work. Or if something's going down and they felt like they couldn't handle it, they call it code B16 because they knew he still had his police equipment and he can hear it. So then I just started crafting the story. Like, once I started drawing the character, I just kind of like thought of like some cool things. Like for I don't know why, to me cops like look really cool. Like in their bulletproof vests, the way that some of them look are just really dope. So it's kind of where I started off, and I knew I wanted to have some type of skull design, white paint of a skull on his head, and I have a thing for glowing tattoos. And if he's going to be a voodoo magician, magic and voodoo curses and things like that, then I wanted the tattoos to play into it and they would light up. But then the more I thought about it, like, I didn't want him to be very well-rounded in the powers, because he still relies on his knowledge of being a cop and his training of being a cop and his gun. So somehow I needed to work it in there where his gun gets. I was thinking, like, well, it'd be cool, like, if the enchantments or the spells that he comes up with, or the curses or whatever, he ingrained it into the gun, so it was different, like bullets that he fired, and then we get all these tattoos and markings that are on the gun that glow as well. And he has these silhouetted ravens or different animals that he can call out of his shadows and can be like the eyes in the sky form and stuff like that. So like then I just start like I'm thinking about all the lore and the things that I like, and I think that looks cool, and I'll start drawing it and kind of like process of elimination of what I wanted. That's pretty much what I did. Like, I designed characters for Screen Boy, and that's kind of like how it worked. Ethan gave me a foundation. Ethan had the characters pretty fleshed out, but I designed how they looked, and he still had a solid look for him. But Ethan's really cool to where he gave me some room to add me into it, and I ended up coming up with some pretty cool things that I enjoyed severely, and he did too. So every process is different. So I mean, there's a couple processes doing Smith art. So I hope that answers the question. Next we have Mr. Harden, Geoffrey Harden. What makes a great comic book villain? What makes a great comic book villain? Man. Well, there's two types of villains, and I love both of them. There's just the villain that likes to destroy shit just for the sake of destroying it. And then there's the villain where you can relate to them. Well, I'm lying. There's multiples. Because then there's also the villain where you can understand where they're coming from, but they're still wrong. Let me see. Like, who's my favorite villain? I got a couple. Let's say Morlun. Morlun from Spider-Man. Love him. So he's bad. There's no coming back from that. Morlun eats characters like Spider-Man. That's what he needs to live and feed on, and he's not shy about it at all. This is what he does for a living, and just the way that he attacks and he talks to Spider-Man, it's just like, I'm gonna get this. Like, this is where it's gonna happen. You can't beat me. I am stronger than you. I'm faster than you. And what also made Morlun cool is that his power set was very specific to the totem of Spider-Man, or those totem creatures. So he couldn't do that to Hulk. He couldn't do that to Cap. but he could beat the crap out of Spider-Man because his power was intertwined with him. And I thought that was really cool. But the way Moreland is and the way that he attacked him and what he was, he is not crazy. He's very sane, but he is a creature of his nature. So he's a good villain. And because he's not really doing anything wrong. It's survival. And that's so funny because I was just having a conversation with Victor about this as we've been examining the Freestyle Komics timeline and the Zero Event. Is the lion evil for eating the gazelle? And I'm like, no. But, to the gazelle, the lion is evil, right? Because you eat me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the similar situation with Moreland and Spider-Man. It's another good villain that I really enjoyed. Hey, my man Voldemort. Love him. Voldemort just didn't give no F's, dog. He didn't care. Voldemort was the man. And he just was disrespectful. I'm watching this movie and I'm loving him. I'm like, oh, you're just so evil. And it's like, dude, this is a kid. You want to kill a kid? Let it go, homie. Let it go. But no, he wouldn't. And I loved him in the books, and I loved him in the movies. And I just loved his just evil ways, because he was the perfect mirror for my man Harry to go against. And I just reveled in it. Another villain that I enjoy is Regina and Mr. Gold from Once Upon a Time. They're my favorite part of the show. They're the only reason I watch it. And but I don't even know if you can call them villains anymore because Regina's a good guy now. But she was great as a villain, and that was more her portrayal of her. Her acting was on point for it. And Gold, he's just selfish. Gold is just, I'm gonna do him, but I'm gonna do me. But I love how Gold talks. I love Gold's mentality, and I just enjoy Gold a lot. He's got a lot of good lines. Gold's lines may have been maybe the reason why I like him. Any villain that can talk and have a silver tongue while destroying the good guy, I'm all about that. But my all-time favorite villain is Mr. Smith. All right, Mr. Smith from The Matrix is it for me. And it immediately started when he was in the room with Morpheus, and he rubbed the sweat off of him and put it in Morpheus' nose, and he was like, it's like a disease. He was so mad. He was so angry. He wanted to get out. And just the disrespectful way that he talked to Mr. Anderson. And how he made it a personal vendetta of the back and forth. And he just got really good lines after that. And I just loved him. I enjoyed him. Mr. Smith, and the line he gives to the Oracle, you would know, Mom. Or you've set me free. And that may go again with the actor. I loved his portrayal of that character. But Mr. Smith's my all-time favorite villain. So the long and short of it, the villain's gotta have game. The villain, yes, I can taste your stench. All right, Mike knows what's up. The villain's gotta have a mouthpiece. The villain's gotta be able to game it. He's gotta talk, and as the kids call it today, roast. He's gotta have those lines that even though you want the good guy to win, he still has you laughing that was funny. Excuse me. And you gotta believe in their cause, even though they're wrong. Because I'm at the end of the day, I'm a good guy, right? I want the good guys to win. So you gotta, even though hey, this guy's wrong, but I believe in them. You gotta believe in their intent. Their intent to cause harm for their cause has to be believable. So if I believe in that character and their intent, I'm behind them. Like, that's a good villain. Which is kind of like the thing like when we made Void. Void is just destruction. He's got a mouthpiece, and he can back all of it up. He's dangerous. He's dangerous. And, you know, we got more characters that we have coming out, like Queen Mala, who's already been out, and that's a fun character. We got our first appearance in Vigilance. At the end of Vigilance #1, they fought in Vigilance #2. There will be more Queen Mala, a.k.a. Lady Thundersong. Because we got some things planned with her. Dragoness is a fun character that we're going to be revisiting. She's popped up twice already in the FSK books. And, you know, so it's things like that, and you got to enjoy. Snape. Because he was a villain for a while, right? I'm going to cheat and throw Snape in there, because I love Snape. I love him so much. Although he was a good guy the whole time. Snape. Gollum's a good villain. Gollum is a good villain. Alright, that question can go on and on and on and on and on. But, yeah, so I think that's all I got as far as that. So, hey, if you stuck through this with all the technical difficulties, I appreciate it. Stop over at the Freestyle Komics page. You can see the awesome banner that I made. Hopefully, the recording of this is going to work for me, and I'll be able to put up the actual video with the banner up on Facebook later. So, again, same time next week, Wednesday, 8:45. We'll do Dear Creatives episode number 9. Any questions, comments, or things you want me to discuss in here, hit me up on this, or you know, when you see my thread pop up, or just message me. Message me on Facebook, message me on the FSK page, or my own personal page, and I will answer those questions for you. Very much so. I got a few minutes here. The rundown on what's going on at FSK right now. Our internship has started, and we have the interns in full swing working on their projects and, you know, getting their feet wet. Production on all of our new issues is underway, and that means new issues of Vigilance, Heroes International, Hotshot, and Emerald Quest. We will be at I'll be at GameStop in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, on the 26th. Just, you know, quiet little venue, because Dragon Ball Z Fighter comes out, and Monster Hunter World comes out, so I'll be out there because there'll be a lot of people out there just promoting the stuff that I'm doing. We will be doing a full-blown video game release party for Far Cry 5 in March. Then I will be at the Gateway with Creative Control Fest and Black Nerd Problems, working the Black Panther screening event. What? Super excited for that. Can't wait. Confirmation. I will be at Pack Rat for Free Comic Book Day, and that's May 5th. And I'll be at Cleveland in March, Wizard World Cleveland. So, you know, we're slowly getting our things together and moving on here. Vigilance campaign is wrapping up. Stuff is starting. Well, stuff has already been shipping or whatnot, but we are still shipping things for the bigger rewards and tiers and things like that. And we're going to be announcing our next Kickstarter project here very, very soon. So I think I've taken up enough of your time. I appreciate you guys all. Thank you so much for tuning in and sticking with me through the technical difficulties. I promise, guys, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. I'm going to be looking up on Google and YouTube to see what's a snafu on my end and how I can make this experience better. But all right, guys, thank you very much. See you later.